Most people believe the rich are wealthy because they earn more money, but that's only part of the story. The real difference between the wealthy and everyone else isn't income, it's behavior. Today, we're talking about the 1% rule. Welcome to Money Aha, a channel where finance finally makes sense. A simple mindset shift that explains how wealthy people think about money, use money, and grow money differently. This isn't about get-rich-quick schemes. It's about psychology, habits, and long-term thinking. So now what does 1% rule really means? The 1% rule is simple. Instead of trying to make huge changes all at once, the wealthy focus on small, consistent improvements, often just 1% better decisions over time. 1% better saving, 1% better investing, 1% better spending decisions. These tiny advantages compound. Most people underestimate how powerful compounding behavior really is. The wealthy understand that money grows the same way habits do, slowly at first, then suddenly. Now that we understand what the 1% rule means, we need to talk about something most people overlook: behavior. Money problems are rarely caused by a lack of income. They're caused by patterns of spending, patterns of reacting, patterns of avoiding decisions. When income increases, those patterns don't disappear, they simply become larger. This is why you often see people who earn a lot of money but still live paycheck to paycheck. The wealthy understand this early in life. They focus on shaping behavior before chasing income. They know that habits follow you everywhere, into every salary level, into every business, into every investment. Fixing behavior first is the foundation of long-term wealth, and patterns matter. Money triggers emotion more than almost anything else. It can make people feel powerful or anxious or insecure or rushed. Most people make money decisions while emotions are still high. They spend to feel better. They invest out of fear of missing out. They avoid decisions because of stress. The wealthy do something simple but powerful. They wait. They delay decisions just long enough for emotion to settle. That pause creates space for logic. And once logic takes over, the quality of decisions improves dramatically. This habit alone, waiting before acting, is a 1% improvement that compounds over a lifetime. Most people think wealth is built through big moments, a big raise, a big investment, a big opportunity. But wealth is almost always built through small decisions. Saving a little more each month, spending a little less impulsively, investing consistently even when it feels boring. Individually, these decisions feel insignificant, but over time they stack. The wealthy understand compounding behavior the same way they understand compounding money. Progress is slow at first, almost invisible, but with consistency, momentum builds. And one day, the difference becomes undeniable. Spending with intention, not restriction. At this point, it's important to clarify something. The wealthy are not obsessed with cutting every expense. They don't live in constant restriction. Instead, they spend with intention. They are very clear about what adds real value to their lives and what doesn't. They are willing to spend generously on things that matter to them and extremely cautious with things that don't. Most people do the opposite. They spend impulsively on small things and feel guilty about big decisions. The 1% rule here is awareness. Being slightly more aware of why you're spending often reduces unnecessary spending automatically. The role of patience and boredom, but because they get bored, they abandon good habits in search of excitement. The wealthy accept boredom because they understand what it represents. Boredom means the system is working. Patience, in this sense, is not waiting. It's trusting the process. Systems over willpower. Another key difference is how decisions are made. Most people rely on willpower. They try to remember to save. They try to resist spending. They try to stay disciplined. The wealthy design systems, automatic transfers, scheduled investments, clear financial rules. Systems remove the need for daily discipline. When behavior is automated, progress continues even on bad days. This is one of the most powerful 1% improvements anyone can make. Long-term thinking and financial freedom, the final and most important difference between the wealthy and everyone else is how they think about time. Most people live financially in the present. They make decisions based on how something feels today, how it looks today, or how quickly it delivers results. The wealthy operate on a completely different timeline. They think in years, they think in decades. They understand that money needs time to work, and rushing it usually destroys progress. When the wealthy make financial decisions, they are not asking, how does this improve my life right now? They are asking, how does this shape my future? This long-term thinking affects everything: what they buy, how they invest, when they say no, and when they are willing to wait. Waiting is not passive for them. It's strategic. They know that every dollar given time has the potential to grow, multiply, and create options. Most people underestimate time because its effects are invisible at first. But the wealthy trust the process, even when progress doesn't feel exciting. Another reason long-term thinking matters is emotional stability. People who think short-term are easily shaken by market drops, unexpected expenses, or temporary setbacks. The wealthy expect volatility. They prepare for it. Because they're thinking long-term, short-term problems don't force short-term decisions. This emotional stability protects them from making costly mistakes. Long-term thinking also creates freedom, not just financial freedom, but mental freedom. When money is working in the background, there's less stress, less urgency, and less pressure to react. Freedom doesn't arrive suddenly. It's built gradually, through patience, discipline, and time. The wealthy are not in a rush to look successful. They are focused on becoming secure. They understand that true wealth is not about appearance. It's about control. Control over time, control over choices, control over their future. And this brings us back to the 1% rule. Long-term thinking is not about making perfect decisions. It's about making slightly better ones, consistently, choosing patience over impulse, choosing progress over excitement, choosing systems over shortcuts. Over time, these small choices create a life with more options and less stress. Highlight on slide, rotate slowly. Long-term thinking. Patience time creates freedom control over choices. Wealth isn't built in dramatic moments, it's built quietly, through behavior, through patience, and through time. And that's what the 1% rule is really about. The 1% rule isn't about perfection, it's about awareness. Being slightly more intentional, slightly more patient, slightly more consistent. Over time, those small differences create completely different outcomes. That extra bit of effort when no one is watching. The decision to try again instead of giving up. Choosing progress over comfort just a little more often. It doesn't feel dramatic in the moment, but day by day, those 1% choices stack up, shaping habits, mindset, and eventually, your entire direction. One better choice today, one pause before reacting, one step forward, even when it feels small. You don't change your life overnight, you change it quietly, 1% at a time. This is Money Aha, where finance finally makes sense. Subscribe, stay curious, and think differently. Let us do the research for you, so you can make smarter decisions with confidence. And stay tuned for more videos because understanding money changes everything.